In this episode of Derp, I refactored the bumper class to use an inherited scene, so it's easier to add new bumpers in the future. I'll start by opening the bumper ship base class, and I'll add an export variable for starting health, and define it as an integer. And then I'll open up all of the bumpers and set the starting health equal to the current and maximum. So I'll set it for all of the domes. And this will just make it easier to make new bumpers in the future. Okay, and then I'll do the cloud. And the striped bumper. So now they all have a starting health variable. Then in the capped value custom resource, I'll add a constructor for current and maximum. So we'll set maximum first, and then set current. And if I go ahead and play, it'll crash. So this is kind of confusing, the error message, but basically you can set this to current by default and maximum by default. So if it's called without any arguments, which is what's happening, then you can see everything still works. So now in the bumper ship base class, I can set health to a regular variable, so we're no longer exporting, and set it to a capped value so we get the auto completion. And then on ready, we'll say health equals capped value dot new, and I'll pass the starting health for both. And then in the asteroid, in the build function, or set size, so here I'll set the starting health to starting health times S. Yeah. So starting health times equals S, and see if that works. Okay, so it looks like the health bars are being initialized properly. Now I need to make a new rigid body for the bumper ship base scene. So I'll save it and attach the script. Now I'll copy the static emitter, the health node, and the remote transform 2D. So this will just make it easier to set up a new bumper. I'm not copying the base image because it could be a polygon 2D, or the collision shape because it can be a polygon 2D or a shape 2D. So I'll just copy these three. So the static needs to be a unique material, and I'll just load the generic icon for the collision for the emission mask, just so it's default. So the remote transform only updates position, and it's connected to the node 2D on the health bar. I am gonna make this local, and this as well, make local, so that it's actually saved in the node. So now I can make a new inherited scene from the bumper, and I'll attach the cloud script to that. And I can set the starting health and points values. Then I'll copy all of the additional nodes that aren't in the base template and paste them over here. And you can copy a node's properties using the wrench icon. So I'll copy the static emitter, and that should be it. So now I can delete the original scene and save the new one. Okay, so we'll close that, and now I can save it. So I do want the sprites to be behind the particle emitter, and now in the main scene I can reduce the bumper list down to 1 and add the cloud so it only spawns the cloud, and we'll see. So they get angry and they lose health. They're not shooting lightning bolts because I need to reconnect the timer. So I'll connect that signal back to the bumper class. And now, when they take damage, they start shooting lightning. And when you kill them, they do drop points. Then I'll open up the striped bumper, make a new inherited scene, attach the striped bumper script, set the starting health and points, and then I'll copy all of the extra nodes and move them underneath the static, and then copy the static properties and paste them in. And then I need to connect the timer timeout back to the bumper, which just toggles the thrusters. So I'm also going to move the health bar over a little bit. And then I can delete the original scene and save it instead. Right, so you need to close it, don't save, and then save this one. Okay, and then in the main scene, I can add the bumper to the spawn list and make sure it still works. Okay. Seems to be working fine. Now I'll make a new inherited scene for the shooting star. So copy all of the additional nodes. And the static emitter properties. Enable emitting and move the static above the base sprite. Then I'll attach the shooting star script and set the starting health and points. Then I'll connect the shoot timeout to the shoot function and the body entered signal as well. Okay, so now I can close the original scene and delete it and save the new one. And then I'll enable it in the bumper list in the main scene. Okay, so they are shooting the lasers and changing colors, but they're losing velocity when they collide. So I need to enable contact monitoring. I don't want to do this on the base scene because that's a lot. It'll be a lot. So I'll just enable it here and set contacts reported to 1. So now when they collide, it resets the velocity and they don't lose any speed. Next, I'll make a new inherited scene for the tube. And attach the script. So then I can set the starting health and points. And then I'll copy. So this is a collision shape and a polygon 2D instead of the collision polygon and the sprite. But since they're not included, it doesn't matter. So paste those and then copy the static properties. And we'll move this above the polygon. And I can close the original scene. and delete it, and then override. So now I'll add the colony to the bumper spawner and make sure the tubes still spawn and the static still works. Next, I'll make a new inherited scene for the dome and copy the collision shape and base sprite. I'll set the sprite to the default icon for now, and then I'll copy the static properties set the starting health and points, and then I'll move the health bar up a little bit, and I'll attach the dome script. So now I can delete all of the existing dome scenes, and I'll make a new inherited scene for the hospital. So just drag the image in, and then I'll make it drop a health pack, and the health and points are already set. So then I'll save this to replace the old scene. So then I'll make a new inherited scene for the housing. And this doesn't drop anything, so can just save it. Make another scene for the reactor. And this drops an energy pack. So add that to the root. And then one more scene for the tree. So assign the texture, and then it doesn't drop anything, so I'll just save it. Now I need to make sure everything still works. So okay, it seems like it does. And finally, I'll make another scene for the asteroid. So I'll copy the extra nodes and then attach the asteroid script. So I'm going to move the static up to the root level. So copy and paste the properties, and then I'll delete that. And then I'll move the scalar behind the static so the image shows up there. And then I'll move the health bar all the way up. And then I'll set the static scale equals scale vec as well. And then so now I can delete, oh, and I need to set the points. So I'll set it a little higher so it's easier for testing. And then, so now I can close that and delete the original scene and overwrite it. And then I'll put this in the bumper spawner. So here, I'll just set the starting health times equals size. And get rid of the health and maximum health. And then get rid of the static on and off since I moved it up to the default. Okay. So now it's working, but the static seems to be off. Oh, I need to also set the OR list. So I'll go ahead and do that. And then set these to object. And add the ORs. Okay. And now I'll set the static offset. So that's the under transform, the position. So I'll go ahead and scale that as well. Static dot position times equals scale vec. So now the static particles are lining up with the asteroids. And the drops should be working. So they do drop the ores now as well. So now that all the bumpers are inheriting from the base scene, I can make changes like set the physics material, set the friction to 0 and the bounce to 1, and then once you save it, it'll be applied to all the other bumpers. I also am going to add a update current health and update maximum health signals. And then here, instead of directly setting the health, I'll just emit the update current health with health.current, and I'm not sure if it matters, but I'll do maximum first, like so. And then in the inspector, so if you just have the regular view, all these nodes will be grayed out, but if you turn on the advanced, then these become accessible. So I'll select the progress bar and connect this to set value. And then for the maximum, I'll do the same. Set max. Okay. And then here I'll replace that with the signal as well. So now they are still, the health bars still work. I need to fix the collision shapes a little bit, but the health bars still work, and everything seems to be working. So thank you for watching this Derp Star update, and have a great day.